Tombstone, like most towns, Holliday and his friends found themselves in the West, was a lawless place created by a silver boom a decade back. Miners, cattlemen, cowboys, and thieves all congregated around the find, a small village rising up, eventually blossoming into a full-fledged town. When the Earps and Holliday arrived, Tombstone was being controlled by the Clanton gang, led by Newman, Old Man. Clanton and his sons, a family originally from Tennessee. Newman and his eldest son fighting for the Confederacy in the Civil War. Wyatt and his brothers had been called in to help those citizens who had had enough of their tyrannical reign get rid of the criminals. The Clantons specialized in cattle rustling, rigged gambling, and murder, having killed Wyatt's predecessor and never facing federal charges since no lawman could get close enough to arrest them. Doc, while not in service of the law, was a friend to the Earps, and as such he felt duty-bound to help if he could. Big Nose Kate, Doc's lover, not overly fond of the idea, tried to convince him to stay out of it since, she said, it wasn't none of his business. To this, Holliday shrugged. If his friends needed help, he was going to help. Otherwise, how could he call himself a man? To him, loyalty and honor meant everything. In the intervening months, the Earps and Holliday prepared for a final confrontation with the Clantons, the two sides engaging in periodic skirmishes outside Tombstone. Things became so heated that Ike Clanton, one of the gang's leaders fearing for his life and the life of his brothers, sought out Wyatt in secret one cold August night, while the marshal was alone outside Tombstone's biggest saloon. Ike let Wyatt disarm him. He didn't care. He told Wyatt he wanted to make peace. He was even willing to surrender in town in front of everyone if the Earps promised not to shoot on sight. Wyatt listened somewhat impatiently as Ike rambled his way through his proposal, but by the end he agreed, so long as Ike made sure to bring his father in along with them, something he promised to do. But this condition was harder to pull off than he believed it would be. Old Man Clanton, when Ike suggested they surrender willingly, nearly shot him on the spot. The Clantons, Newman made it crystal clear, never surrendered, willingly or otherwise, leaving Ike powerless to live up to his promise. To make matters worse, his father told a younger brother to keep an eye on him, making it impossible for Ike to return to Tombstone to inform Wyatt what transpired. Finally, things reached a tipping point in late October. Ike Clanton, enraged by how much money he was losing by not ruling Tombstone, decided enough was enough. On October 26th, he and his brothers rode into town looking for a fight. Wyatt and his brothers, Virgil and Morgan, were in his office going over paperwork, the boring part of the marshal's profession, when E.F. Boyle, a friend to the family, ran in telling them the Clantons arrived. At first, Wyatt thought the man was just playing a trick on him. Ike hadn't contacted him in 2 months, so he thought the deal fell through. But Boyle insisted, so Wyatt told Morgan, the youngest of the 3 Earp brothers, to fetch Doc in the saloon and to meet them outside. While Morgan went in search of Doc, Ike and his brothers started shouting for Wyatt and Virgil to show themselves. It was time, they taunted, to see their maker. Ike, visibly drunk, stumbled in Tombstone's muddy streets, slurring his speech. He called out Doc's name again, so loud this time the man himself heard him, but in the middle of a card game, thought it was just a random fool he pissed off a day or so ago and ignored it. It was only when Morgan barged into the saloon he realized what was truly happening. Placing his cards down, Holliday went up into his room, unlocked the chest he kept his shotgun in, loaded it, and walked downstairs, following Morgan out the door. They met up with Wyatt and Virgil at the marshal's office, Doc greeting the two a good morning as if it was just another day. The 4 men started their walk down Tombstone Street, keeping an eye out for any sign of the Clantons. Doc, the shotgun held firmly in his hands, told Wyatt he hoped this was the end of things. He didn't know how much more bullets he could take. Then he laughed. Wyatt promised him it would end here, one way or another. They found the family at the O.K Corral, the Earps demanding the Clantons drop their weapons. Ike, predictably, cursed them out. He said Tombstone was his family's by right of conquest. Doc spit in his direction in response, infuriating the elderly man further. Ike, emboldened by his family, told Wyatt to piss off, to which the marshal asked him about their deal. Ike glared at him, calling Earp a liar, a no-good liar. The other Clantons, hands inches from their guns, waited in tense silence. Ike threw insult after insult at the Earps and pointed a crusty finger at Holliday, calling him a failed doctor, a damned traitor to the South. The tension was palpable.